Welcome back, Terps and friends. I hope everyone enjoyed their weekend because tonight we have some playoff League of Legends action coming your way. My name is Nathan.
And my name is Kevin, and we are definitely excited to kick off the playoffs in studio tonight with our Terps Academy League of Legends team.
That is absolutely right, Kevin. We've got a lot to cover in our pre-show today, including a quick rundown of how the game works and an interview later with our team support, Kelly.
But before we get into the action, let's go over the rules of your typical League of Legends tournament match. If you never played the game before, League is a multiplayer online battle arena, also known as a MOBA. 5 players on each team battle it out on Summoner's Rift. There's monsters in the jungle, minions in the lanes, and turrets to be destroyed. Victory is achieved upon destroying the opposing team's nexus.
Absolutely, and for this league match, the Terps will be going up against Braves League of Legends of Ottawa University in the Play vs. Playoff ranked league.
Our Terps finished the season strong at 5-2, while the Braves had a 6-1 record. Today kicks off the first round of the Play vs. Playoffs, so the Terps will try to set a strong tone for their playoff run.
So now you know what's happening tonight. Here are some highlights from previous match against USF Green.
Get that damage off and get out, walk away, right?
Yeah, as we see some action happening in the bot lane, stun onto Rel. 1 HP on both. Barrier comes out. Flash comes out from Corky. Soyblade gets 1 kill. Smolder's definitely going to be behind now.
Yeah, you definitely love to see that.
A teleport comes in. He's trying to, make up for his sins right now as Z is taking the confident step forward. While Twitch from the bot lane is jumping onto Z.
I mean, well, oh my God, look at the Q flash coming out from Z. The Q flash into the middle of both of them.
What a play! Double kill!
Gets the heal on both of them with the Noxian. Q from Darius gets so much healing, and obviously he applies that. Right now, it's just a little bit scary for USF. They can't go in because whoever goes in is going to meet the same fate as this Urgot right here. He gets a little bit too close, gets dunked, as you said. The Noxian guillotine coming through. Z is not done. He looks for the Q flash. I think he misses, but still preserves the passive, the 5-stack bleed. The shockwave coming through in the back line. Will it be enough, though? No. That is the Noxian guillotine being on full display right there. 1, 2. Hey, look, he tried to get 3. There was a penta looking on the map right there. The enchanted crystal arrow coming out, and that is a get that damage off and get out, walk away, right?
Wow, look at those plays, Nathan. Weren't those crazy against USF Green? Look at our top laner Z always showing off. What a dog. And, well, that's enough of the formalities. Let's get to introducing our Terps Academy squad.
In the ADC role, we have Soy Blake. His major is computer science, and he's got bot lane down to his science. His mechanics are computer-like, as he's such a consistent component to this team. Always a steady presence holding down the Terps for it.
And in mid lane is Burrito Bear. His major is computer science, and he's also got mid lane down to a science. With AI levels of precision, his skill shots will aim true. On whatever character his team needs him to play, he's sure to perform.
Roaming around the jungle today, we have Pika. His major is mechanical engineering, and he's engineered the jungle down to a mechanic. He navigates the jungle with extreme familiarity. His presence spreads across the map as he ganks lanes with ferocious intent.
And in top lane, we have Z. His major is business, and he stands on business every night in the top lane. As his mechanics are always on point, keep an eye out because he's sure to solo kill in the top lane.
And in the support role, we have Kelly. Her major is digital communication, and she'll put those communication skills to work tonight by leading her team from the support role. She's always a vital piece of matches, so be sure to watch keenly for impact. And speaking of, tonight we're going to be interviewing our team support, Kelly. Hey, Kelly, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm excited for tonight. Are you and the team ready for playoff action tonight?
Yes, I've been looking forward to tonight all week. I'm very excited. I even brought in my peripherals. That's how serious I am. I'm locked in tonight, so I'm ready to play.
That's what we love to hear. So in general, in your opinion, does today's game feel any different than others?
I feel like... I'm sorry, wait, could you repeat the question?
Does today's game, playoff action, feel any different than the others?
It's a lot more exciting today. I definitely feel like, we kind of had like a short break last week due to due to the fact that there was no match last week. So I'm ready. I feel re-energized and I'm ready to go.
That's what we love to hear. So what have you guys been focusing on in your scrims leading up to today?
I feel like it's really just a lot about communication within our team that we still have to work on. And so we've been really kind of honing down on some of the flaws that we have in our comms. For me, Aegis support. So learning about the right time to engage is something that I'm really focused on for tonight.
Like the Nautilus, maybe?
Yeah, like the Nautilus.
That's awesome. So, in your opinion, does the meta right now favor Engage or Enchanter supports, and why?
I definitely feel like the meta favors Engage supports. I think that Enchanters can be really, really strong, but due to a lot of the team comps that we want to play, Engage is a lot more important for our
That makes a
team.
lot of sense. So we might know the answer to this already, but if you could play any support in these games, no matter the comp, who would it be and why?
I would like to say that the answer would be Lux, my favorite champion ever. Unfortunately, we don't get to pick it that much due to the fact that we can't really build a comp around it, but you know what, it's fine. I'll play my queen in solo queue, so it's all good.
That's what we like to hear. Well, thank you for the interview, and that will conclude our pre-show for this League of Legends match. We'll be right back with all the action after this commercial break.
And I think by the end of the season, like now, we play together, everyone kind of jokes around a little bit more and kind of shines their natural ray. We're excited just to see them play better as well.
With the middle school program, the best part has been seeing the moments of teamwork where the middle schoolers really seem to get the game, and so that's when you can see they're starting to get a little bit hooked on how esports can be so fun.
Off game, or will Red turn things around?
Hi, my name is Teddy Zielkowski. I am a 2022 graduate at the University of Maryland with a degree of Bachelor's of Landscape Architecture, and right now I am a Terps Rocket League coach. Yeah, I think one of the biggest factors of why they invited me to be the coach for the Rocket League team was that I played a lot, and I was actually like the Rocket League president of the club. I played for the collegiate team before Terps Esports was a program. So I was a huge person in this community for Rocket League. So they really wanted someone who was kind of like a cornerstone that built this community to come back and be the coach. The most important thing about my role would be just getting to know all the different players on the team. Everyone has different lifestyles, they have different play styles, so you really got to just get to know every single person so that you can help kind of connect them all together so they can play well on and off the pitch. My favorite part would just be seeing their improvements throughout the entire season. I mean, you start out and everyone's a bit awkward, everyone's kind of shy as well, and I think by the end of the season, like now, we play together, everyone kind of jokes around a little bit more and kind of shines their natural ray, so it's really fun just seeing, and they're also just getting better at the game too, so we're excited just to see them play better as well. I like the program, I like the direction it's going. There's obviously so much more work to do and figuring everything out, but I really like the direction we're going, and I think just the more time that we're working to grow the program, the more we're going to learn how to just be better as a program. I think one of the things that I really want to keep improving upon for like Terps Esports is just building a bigger community for all the games. So the Rocket League community has a really big community over in the club side. So it was really nice to see more people just like bonding together. People are just, instead of just seeing as like practices as being like a forced mandatory thing, people are like reaching out to each other and like they really want to play proactively with each other, and they're becoming friends as well. So it's not even like a team and we're just teammates and that's it, but it's more like we're staying up till like 2, 3 a.m. playing because we're having fun playing, and that's also helping them get better as well. So it like increases their like chemistry together and like just playing together as well, and they can handle losses better when they're a team and they're friends. So that's like a really good part about just building this community. I think one of the biggest things is just creating like a welcoming space for like beginners, and just like having it just be really welcoming, all skill levels included. That's something that we can try and do, and just create more diversity in the esports scene, just have more opportunities for other people to come, and maybe they're prodigies at a certain game or something. So when more people are playing the game and just creating more noise, then it's awesome for more people to just keep coming. It's almost like a trend.
Hello, everybody, and how are we doing? I know we, at least in here in the studio, we are very, very excited for some playoff action today. It's not very often we get to have some exciting, very, very like high stakes game like this. And obviously they're usually exciting, right? But the stakes are higher. You know, blood's flowing more. Everyone's getting more locked in. And as we see the team right now just communicating, talking some things out before the first match. I don't believe we're in draft yet, but we will be getting in very soon. But I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's Nathan, there's a lot to look forward to tonight. I mean, playoff season's always like this. You want your team to make it far, you know, you want them to make the grand finals, win grand finals, you know, be optimistic at the very least. We're still young, we got a dream. What are your predictions for tonight? What do you want to see happening for tonight, Nathan?
What I want to see and what my predictions might be a little bit different. But honestly, no, you know what, tonight? My predictions are that it's a 2-0 sweep. We're going to be locked because that's what you have to do when you're in these high stakes, high scenario games. You have to be optimistic, and you have to wholeheartedly believe that the outcome is the exact one that you want. So I'm predicting, you know, not to commentator curse or anything. Let's hope not, but I'm predicting a 2-0 win today.
Yeah, I think I'm right alongside you. Maybe I want to be optimistic and say 2-0, but you know, the records are so close from the regular season. Maybe a 2-1, I would be satisfied as long as our Terps win. That is what matters at the end. At the end of the day, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And the Braves are not bad at by any means. You said the records are similar. They actually are a win up on our Terps Academy team. So, I mean, today's going to be an exciting one already in the playoffs. Usually, you know, with how playoff seeding works, you usually see a pretty good team against a pretty bad team. And then it's kind of the middle of the road games where it's like, you know, teams that had a pretty good season versus teams who had a similar one. And that's what we're seeing today. We're already getting in some good action very early on in playoffs. And I'm just, you know, I'm very ready. I'm very, very excited for tonight's games.
Yeah, I believe in this division, it's our Terps are seeded number 48 versus, you know, the Braves 18, which is like, it's a pretty big discrepancy for a 1-win difference.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think it's going to be a good fight. Everybody's going to put up, you know, their best fight possible. And I want to see when we hop into draft, what's happening, what's popping. Kelly was talking about engaged supports. I want to see how this draft pans out, especially in this fearless mode.
Yeah, especially, I mean, that should just show you how competitive the league has been, the play versus college league has been this season. I mean, these teams, like you said, are separated by 1 win, and they're tied with many other teams, but that does end up coming out to be a 30 seed difference, even though they've only won one more game. And it's not taking away anything from Braves, and it's not giving Maryland anything, but it just shows you how competitive these teams are, and I mean just how good they are. 5-2 and 6-1 are pretty good records for an entire season. That's not bad at all.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just the smallest win difference. The seedings are, it doesn't matter about the seedings right now. It matters how well our Terps play. And as you saw from those clips against USF Green, I mean, those lady and gentlemen can play on the Sumner's Rift. And any predictions for draft? Who are you looking out for tonight, and what do you want to see in the draft?
Casting Academy is always very, very fun for me because we get to watch Z in the top lane. He is such a dog. Like you said, he's a dog in the top lane. He always is looking for solo kills, some way to influence the game on his own, because obviously we know he's going to be potent in team fights. We know he's going to have an impact no matter what, but he likes to make his own impact before anything else really happens, and he does it pretty often. We see him get solo kills pretty often, and so if I had to pick one, that would be my player to watch.
Yeah, like Z, he always puts on a show. That Darius game, that was such a standout game, dunk after dunk, and we got to hear some. Well, at least I got to hear some behind the scenes for the VOD analysis, and I've got to say, Nathan, it's pretty funny to hear his thought process being, I don't know, man. I just feel like I was pretty strong.
That is the most.
So I could just run in.
That's the most Z answer I think he could have given from what we've talked to him in the studio. The conversations we've had, and I believe I interviewed him in the first time I actually casted ever. It was very neat. But if I know Z at all, that is such an answer that he would give. That makes too much sense to come out of his mouth. I could have told you what he said even if you didn't say it to me.
Yeah, and in the bot lane are consistent, are constant on this team, Soy Blake and Kelly. There's no pressure on Blake to perform because he's so consistent. I just want to see that level consistency just maintaining itself. I think composure is the key, especially in this first playoff game. We know our players are great, but how well can they stay great under this pressure?
Yeah, when the lights get brightest, that is when the minds might get the darkest, but that is no reason. We know here at Maryland, the Terps do not back down from adversity. Never back down, never what?
Give up.
Right. So at Maryland, we never back down. The adversity is what we thrive in, and we've seen, this season alone, the Academy team pull out some pretty good wins in bad spots. So the adversity is nothing new to them, and it might not be adversity. It could be a pretty easy game, but playoffs are always extra pressure, extra lights on you, extra cameras, extra this, extra that. And so, I always believe wholeheartedly in that group of 5 in there to pull out a win every week.
Yeah. I'm looking forward, especially to this draft as we hop in right now. We've been seeing such consistent team comps. It's this front to back meta where people just want to brawl it out, and in that skirmish, whoever wins, whoever finds the best angle wins it out. So I don't really know here. What do you think, Nathan?
I'm a little bit intrigued on the fact that there's a no ban coming out from Terps. Right now, the Braves have banned Pantheon, and they have banned out the Darius, most likely for Z. We just saw those Darius clips of him, right? So I'm just a little bit intrigued on the Terps side. Maybe it was a communication error. Maybe it was a technical issue. No ban is a little bit interesting, to say the least, especially on a playoff night.
Yeah, hopefully it's just a visual error, and we'll get some information on that. But definitely, I think Z has the spotlight on him with how he's been performing in these past few games. I think there's a lot of intentional, resources that's going to be put on him by the Braves, especially with these bans. Pantheon can always go jungle, but I feel like top lane is where he thrives the most as a strong laner.
And we were pointing out these two players, Z and Soy Blake, and it looks like those are the two players that got banned out by the Braves. So maybe we're a little bit on point with our analyses here, Kevin. But the Terps have banned out the Orianna as well, and they're hovering their third ban right now, deliberating in the room to the side of us. And we're just excited. Yeah, I feel like this is a little bit off topic with the Ori ban coming out. I feel like we always see Terps on blue side. I feel like I've never seen them on red side. This is kind of new.
I think with how the new pick system works, if you go blue side, you have to pick first with how fearless and this new format works. But red side definitely gives you, I would say it gives you the pick advantage, but it's, for me personally, And from what I've heard, it's a little uncomfortable playing on that top side of the map with how the camera's oriented.
Yeah.
And how you're viewing the map. But I don't really know as the Xin Zhao pick comes out from the Braves.
Yeah, and I think that it really feels good in the draft, at least, as we see Karma hovered. We know who that is for, the support Kelly. But either way, I feel like when it comes to Red Side, it does feel really comfortable because they always get the later picks, and they'll get last pick as well. So they'll have the ultimate counter pick, whether they want to use it on top or mid lane. Typically, those are the lanes that get that last counter pick. But I mean, yeah, it's just interesting. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I just feel like I never see Terps on Red Side. It's a nice breath of fresh air as we see the Wukong pick coming out. No doubt. Well, maybe a little bit of doubt, but I would imagine that is for the jungle, as Wukong has thrived in the jungle for the past couple seasons.
Yeah, I honestly, I love to see these picks coming out. Karma is just a staple in Kelly's champion pool, and in my opinion, it's such a strong character from level, basically. Before level 6, you have your ultimate. You should be one of the strongest characters in the game. And as we see our players getting ready, all psyched up, Kelly pulling out some dance moves. And we just saw Wukong for Pika. He's renowned for his ganking abilities, his skirmish abilities. In the hand, like Wukong is such a, I guess, like, versatile character. He can do damage, but he's also surprisingly tanky.
Yeah, for sure. And he's a good CC bot, if that makes any sense. Just getting in there, knocking everyone up, and stacking that Conqueror, and his passive very quick. That's what makes him so tanky, is he's always taking Conqueror. He's always, stacking his passive, which gives him extra armor and extra health regen. So it gets really hard to kill Wukong the longer a fight goes. But we see the Jin coming out, no doubt, for Soy Blake, as we've seen him on that a couple times. Also, when I think of Jin in this scenario, I think of Lyrex, the premier ADC. He's a dog on Jin, to say the least. I think I saw him last week on the Jin going crazy. So we'll see if Soy Blake has the same kind of, MO as Lyrex. I'm sure he does, as, these guys are talented, right?
Yeah, and we see a Veigar ban coming out from Terps. They're still just focusing down the Braves mid laner, just preventing, because Burrito Bear, he's such a flexible guy. You can really just ban out the whole pool, and he can still pick a character. But I think the Braves are trying to play through their bot lane. Ezreal, Elise is like a very renowned bot lane for trying to win early. Elise has so much damage, and Ezreal is basically the skill check champion. If you can hit your skill shots, you basically win lane.
I feel like right now, as it stands, I don't really like how how together the Braves are, because their champions don't really like to play in the same ways. Xin Zhao likes to be in the dead center of everybody. Ezreal likes to be really far back and poke. And Elise kind of likes to try to assassinate a little bit with a lot of damage coming out. So I think I don't like, at least for right now, the Braves team comp. I mean, of course, they could fix it very, very easily with some top and mid picks, but I feel like I like the potency of the Terps draft, at least up to this point with Karma, Wukong, Jin. They're very even on what they want to do. Wukong is going to go in, he's going to provide peel for Jin, and Karma is going to keep Jin safe, and Jin is just going to go wild, right?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of structural integrity to the Terps comp. They have an ML pick coming out. They have this front to back, and the last pick going to Z is probably going to be a tanker or a bruiser type. But this Mel and Jin is going to be dishing out so much damage. Karma is there to peel, but they have this structure. They have this formation, and I think scaling is the name of the game for the Terps. The Braves are not going to be able to scale, especially with this Elise. She's going to be a detriment to the team as you get later and later into this game.
Yeah, Neferi coming out for the Braves, as well as they do have to pick last. So last pick does go to Z, as we were predicting. And what are you expecting to see out of Z? I mean, obviously we're waiting for this top lane pick, of course, but what are you expecting to see out of him? He has a couple signature champions he could pull out right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to look out for. Camille, depending on the Braves top laner, of course, but Camille is a staple character that works decently well, as we see a Rumble pick is coming out by the Braves. And I think Camille's not a bad pick, but Rumble kind of wins lane no matter what.
Yeah.
Perhaps Z wants to move towards like Zahend, something with more survivability compared to Camille, or Mbessa to add more crowd control and more like skirmishing ability, more mobility to the Terp side.
Right now, I would assume that it would be a Zahen or, as we're seeing right now, a Cassante type, because Wukong needs another big body to be in the center, front and center attention in team fights. And right now, they get their big body with Cassante. He's a pretty big guy, to say the least. He's very, very strong, and he has some pretty good design for what he is meant to do in game. I really like the pick because, again, Wukong, while he's good to be in the front line, just a Wukong is not enough, and to have Cassante there, there's that extra little backup coming out, and I really like that.
Yeah, Cassante is going to be really strong in this composition because I feel like, me personally, Cassante never loses in lane unless it's like Gwen or Vayne, because Cassante, like, he's basically this character where you have to go even in lane if you know how to play the character, basically.
Yeah, right. And so, I don't know. I think this is going to come out to be a very, very interesting one. And as we're getting in very soon, and of course, League of Legends does have a spectator delay, so we will be getting in just a few minutes. But I mean, I think this is going to be an interesting one. I'm very, very intrigued to see what the team, playoff action doesn't come around very often, as I've said. So I'm kind of intrigued to see how they're going to play this one out.
Yeah, I mean, right now, which composition do you favor after getting the final layout for all of the characters on both sides?
I think I still like the Maryland comp of Cassante, Wukong, Mel, Jin, and Karma, because I think they're just more cohesive. That was the word. I don't know if you could tell. I was looking for a word earlier and I couldn't find it, but cohesive. Their cohesion is a lot better, in my opinion, than the other comp. Not to say that the other comp is bad, but I think a lot of the comp for Braves want to do different things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They want to do different things. Rumble likes his team fights, but he doesn't like to be in the center. He likes to place his R down, and he likes to use his flamethrower. Xin Zhao likes to be dead center. Nefiri likes to, play around. It feels like they don't really have a lot of cohesion going on for him, if that makes sense. They don't have a lot of similar goals and togetherness in their goals.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of, scatteredness, like you said, Nathan, because Rumble, if there's no second tank to trap people down into his equalizer, then people can walk out easily. Xin Zhao and Nefiri, they want to go in. Ezreal wants to go in, but, obviously keep some range. It's more of a dive comp from the side of, the Braves. But honestly, I think, my point of focus for this game is probably mid lane, because whether or not Burrito Bear wins on Mel is going to change the tide of the game, because Nefiri, I played personally into Mel, is a decently good counter. I think more times than not you win on that Nefiri, but Burrito Bear is such a good player, and Mel is going to just absolutely decimate those squishy characters on the side of the Braves.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be an interesting one, to say the least. And I don't know. It's just I'm just excited, man. Again, I keep saying it, but we don't really get, obviously every match every week is competitive. And I don't want to say that it's not competitive at all. Because, I mean, they week in and week out, they kind of do their thing. But, I mean, it's just a different environment. It's a different atmosphere. It's a different feeling to be playing for, playing playoffs. And right now, it's win or go home, of course, right?
Yeah.
There is no losers bracket in play versus, so it's win or go home. And their season kind of teeter-totters on every game, which makes it a lot more interesting. There's a lot more stakes. It's a lot more interesting to watch, at least in the moment.
Yeah, I mean, everything relies on game after game, performing consistently. One bad series sends you home. And on Friday, if they make it that far, both Premier and Academy are going to be traveling out for the LAN, going to be, showing off on stage. And we definitely want our players out there enjoying that, spotlight, because they're so talented.
Yeah, for sure. We've been commentating for this season. I'm new this semester, but you've been around for both semesters. I mean, you've been getting to, I have too, but you've really been able to see how the team has grown and how they've, kind of flourished into this team we have right now. 5-2 is nothing to scoff at. That is a pretty good record. And what have you seen out of the team in, semester to semester? How have you seen them grow?
I think, I mean, obviously there's been a lot of roster changes because of old players coming back, new players coming in. But I think what has stood overall and is a testament to, you know, us as Terrapins is that consistency, that ability to just, you know, stay consistent with ourselves and, you know, build this, I guess, like character or the sort of like spreadsheet of who we are and how we want to play, because people don't deviate from how we play. Like I gotta mention our boy Brent. Bread is very yummy. He never wavered on his play style. He makes it work. Urgot, Swain, so unconventional. And even with Z, Darius is not a popular character. Is not a traditionally like competitive character, but he makes it work.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. Like everyone, I mean, this isn't like the highest top level of pro play, but everyone has their kind of things that they do that works for them. And especially right now at this level, you know, that's a good thing. You know, they're sometimes you have these champions, you have these things that people don't see too much, and your own play style is something that people don't see too much, and that's why I like picks like Z having the Cassante, or I mean, Z, we've seen Z on the Rumble, and like you said, the Darius. That's not something that you see every day, especially when you get higher and higher in rank. So I like that there's that little bit of variance, a little bit of I think variance is the best, variability in what they can pick, because it just keeps it interesting. Because I do watch some Pro League, and it gets a little bit stale. You know what I mean? Like the same champions every series over and over. And I mean, just seeing like you probably might not see Mel or like a Nefiri at that level. And I just think it's interesting. It's a good time.
Yeah, I love when players just, you know, put their own flavor into the game, especially at this level where your confidence is half of your ability. And, you know, pulling off Ezreal and Elise, yes, it might be played in the highest levels, but like at this level, you have to have so much confidence.
Yeah.
And, you know, gotta give props to the Braves ADC and support for just calling it out. Hey, let me play this. But it's also like, I mean, it's just players being themselves and being able to showcase who they are through their play styles.
Yeah, and we love to see that. We will be getting into game very soon. But you asked me for my opinion on the comps. How do you feel about them?
Honestly, right now, I didn't think you know, Z would be playing this Cassante. He seems to be more eager to play this like carry role. But I love to see him taking that like step back. Obviously, he's basically has to overextend now to keep the pressure off of his team. But I really like this front to back. This is the style of gameplay that I think is like, I think is one of the most like beautiful when played perfectly styles of League, because everybody knows their position. It's like seeing a phalanx in real person. You see the archers in the back and you see the people with the shields up front. It's just like miracles to the eye.
So you would be preferring this kind of front to back that Maryland looks like they're having this game?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, dive no diss to dive comps, but I feel like it's just so inconsistent to pull off.
It's hard, especially to dive in when there is a Wukong. As long as he's not too far up, too far out of the, you know, kind of base of the fight. Going into a Wukong like that, and even a Mel, it's hard because they just have so many tools to be able to tell you no. You know what I mean? Just get away. Or Wukong sends you up in the air. Mel has her reflect. Mel has her own route. So they have these tools to be able to say, no, you're not going to be able to get in. And their champions kind of require that, like the Elise, like the Nefiri. So, I mean, we'll be seeing that kind of how that dynamic plays out, especially once we get kind of into the mid and late game, because, you know, in League, the early game does get, you know, it is a little bit slow sometimes, and that's completely okay. That's what we love it for. But, yeah, I think once it starts to pick up, I do think that, yeah, this front to back, this very cohesive kind of team comp might be able to pull ahead.
Yeah, and like I said, I think scaling is the name of this game. Like, as you scale further along, Elise is going to be such a vulnerable character as long as she doesn't get any resources early. And I want to get some of your perspective back in the top lane. Over or under 1.5 solo kills for Z?
4Z, I don't know. See, that's the thing with some of these like games is like if you were to say over under 1.5 kills in total, I'd say over for sure because we know that they're going to get to brawling up there. But just for Z, I'd like to say over, you know, local good guys, right, as we like to say here in the studio. But I don't know. You know what? We'll say over. That's what I got.
Yeah, I think Cassante is like a surprisingly strong champion. He has, even though he's meant to be a tanker, he has a lot of damage that you're not going to be expecting. We're getting like some technical pause before, even though we might be hopping in the game soon, but you know, bear with us a little before you see our stars show out on the Rift.
Yeah, you know, I know that you guys heard the sounds just like we did of loading into Summoner's Rift, but yeah, they are on a pause right now, just trying to figure some things out before we get into the game. Sometimes that's just how it is. Bro, was I casting with you when there was like a 15-minute timeout, like delay, because the servers went down?
Yeah, the Riot servers, and I think, you know, I think it was last semester, there was like almost like half an hour of delays, and we had to cancel the match, unfortunately.
Oh my god.
And I hopped in the Discord call with all the players, and they were playing chess on Discord. You know, so that's the most random thing ever.
You play chess?
Not a lot, but you know, it's a lot of thinking involved. I don't think I have that level of cognition.
Yeah, chess is an interesting one. I have my ons and offs with chess, but it's like I have my ons and offs with League, just how it goes. But yeah, also just how it goes. These technical difficulties. That's why I even brought up that example of, you know, the delay, because it just happens. You know, we have to deal with it. But I mean, right now we get to kind of, you know, look at our own faces more. That's kind of nice, right?
Yeah, we're like LARPing a little. You know, we're chit chatting, but you know, I don't think we've ever mentioned this. We both play League. We're League commentators. We're enthusiasts at this point, I feel, as we do this professionally, I guess, semi-professionally.
Yeah.
But, like, what do you like to play yourself?
What do I like to play myself? I like to play mid lane. I like to play some Yasuo, you know, the typical, of course. But I also like some other kinds of champions, like in top lane. I like to play the Wukong. Not anymore, because I think Wukong top is a little bit iffy. But I like just a lot of different types of champions. And in the mid lane, I like the Akali, the Aurelia. And top lane, I like Gangplank. I think I like the difficulty of some champions, like Draven too. I like difficulty. I like the challenge inside of the challenge, if that makes sense. What about you?
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, I play mid lane also, but I think there's a lot of mechanics. I'm like so afraid to play assassins and just run it down on the Rift, right? I've gotten used to playing some Akali, but it's such a difficult character from the skill floor to the skill ceiling. I usually stick with Yone and Ari nowadays. You know, they're pretty simple, but there's a lot you can do, especially with the movement abilities.
We should do a 1v1 one day. On stream or off stream, we got to do it. We got to run it.
On stream, let's have a in-house game. I think that would be plenty of content for, you know, everybody back at home once they're bored on break or whatnot.
But either way, we will be going to a commercial break, as the pause may take a little bit longer than we were anticipating. So we will be going to a commercial break. We will be back very soon, though.
Hi, my name is Teddy Ziolkowski. I am a 2022 graduate at the University of Maryland with a degree of Bachelor's of Landscape Architecture, and right now I am a Terps Rocket League coach. Yeah, I think one of the biggest factors of why they invited me to be the coach for the Rocket League team was that I played a lot, and I was actually like the Rocket League president of the club. I played for the collegiate team before Terps Esports was a program. So I was a huge person in this community for Rocket League. So they really wanted someone who was kind of like a cornerstone that built this community to come back and be the coach. The most important thing about my role would be just getting to know all the different players in the team. Everyone has different lifestyles, they have different play styles, so you really got to just get to know every single person so that you can help kind of connect them all together so they can play well on and off the pitch. My favorite part would just be seeing their improvements throughout the entire season. I mean, you start out and everyone's a bit awkward, everyone's kind of shy as well, and I think by the end of the season, like now, we play together, everyone kind of jokes around a little bit more and kind of shines their natural ray, so it's really fun just seeing, and they're also just getting better at the game too, so we're excited just to see them play better as well. I like the program, I like the direction it's going. There's obviously so much more work to do and figuring everything out, but I really like the direction we're going, and I think just the more time that we're working to grow the program, the more we're going to learn how to just be better as a program. I think one of the things that I really want to keep improving upon for like Terps Esports is just building a bigger community for all the games. So the Rocket League community has a really big community over in the club side. So it was really nice to see more people just like bonding together. People are just, instead of just seeing as like practices as being like a forced mandatory thing, people are like reaching out to each other and like they really want to play proactively with each other, and they're becoming friends as well. So it's not even like a team and we're just teammates and that's it, but it's more like we're staying up till like 2, 3 a.m. playing because we're having fun playing, and that's also helping them get better as well. So it like increases their like chemistry together and like just playing together as well, and they can handle losses better when they're a team and they're friends. So that's like a really good part about just building this community. I think one of the biggest things is just creating like a welcoming space for like beginners, and just like having it just be really welcoming, all skill levels included. So that's something that we can try and do, and just create more diversity in the esports scene, just have more opportunities for other people to come, and maybe they're prodigies at a certain game or something. So when more people are playing the game and just creating more noise, then it's awesome for more people to just keep coming. It's almost like a trend.
Hello, everybody. We are back, and that technical pause had some technical difficulties with us here in the studios. We are already a little bit into the match as we are in right here. And yeah, we have Z on the Cassante already. We see him on lost a little bit of health, but look at that trade coming out as he gets level 2. And look at the health in mid lane as well. Burrito Bear already taking a pretty strong lead.
Yeah, Z's definitely always looking out for that offensive. Cassante, like I said, is such a deceptive character, being a tank and missing abilities. He can still do so much damage as auto attacks alone.
There is a very famous clip of a pro player named Showmaker, as right now there's an attempt by Burrito Bear to get some damage in, and pretty good attempt at that as the Neferi is on pretty low health. But there's a famous clip of Showmaker, a pro player, talking about how Cassante has literally everything going for him. I suggest you look it up. It's a pretty funny one. He gets very, very upset. But yeah, Cassante is a pretty potent pick, as we see.
First blood.
Yeah, first blood coming out of mid lane. Burrito Bear used the flash. Neferi didn't flash at all. Goes down, and Burrito Bear already takes a lead in the mid lane, 1-0. That's what we love to see.
Yeah, I was saying that this Neferi usually has like an advantage from my personal experience in the mid lane against Mel, but Burrito Bear, what a player. He's got things down precisely, and as we see, Pika's trying to get some action going in this top lane.
Yeah, right now Z is doing his best to get him in, and look at the damage coming out from Z alone. Pika does come in, get some damage out, but look at the Rumble counter-attacking onto Z. The Cassante takes a lot of damage right there, and it's a little bit of an unfortunate gank as Pika looks like he's trying to hover around in the area. Maybe he has given up at this point, though, as things go back to a little bit of normalcy in all the lanes.
Yeah, I love to see the initiative from our Terps early on. Solo kill for Mel already as Zinzao's, poking and prodding in the mid lane. As Pika gets a kill onto Rumble as he oversteps a little. I love to see this initiative, such great
Yeah.
decisiveness early on to this match.
Yeah, maybe I was wrong about returning to normalcy in all the lanes because it looked like Pika just went right back right after I stopped looking at the map, unfortunately, as we see Rumble teleport right back into the top lane. Z has to recall, but he might cancel it in an attempt to save and get some of the XP. Yeah, he does cancel it. Can't leave on that big of a wave, unfortunately. But I mean, that's the thing. Like, good plays coming out already. It is 2-0 inside of the in the favor of the Terps, rather. Sorry, and 1,000 gold lead is nothing to scoff at, especially this early in. Not even 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, right now I want to see how the junglers move, how they position themselves, because the lanes are looking good. It seems like all 3 lanes are winning or at an advantage for the Terps. So it's up to Pika to really snowball this lead. I think Drakes are name of the game. They're really the deciders of this season right now.
Yeah, for sure. I think both teams scare fairly similarly, and that is why you're saying Drake's the name of the game. You're right, because the team that gets the more Drakes early are probably going to find more success as the game goes on later and later. So, I mean, yeah, wow, and here we are with another technical pause, unfortunately, and here are our beautiful faces once again back on the screen. So, I mean, some more technical difficulties, unfortunately, coming out as you hear it there. That was a disconnection. So a player might have disconnected. They're just trying to figure things out. Unfortunately, as that goes, you know, especially in kind of a higher tense environment in playoff games, that kind of might get the players a little bit locked out.
I wonder if they just, unplug their computer because we were winning so hard, Nathan. I saw that for a brief moment, the Ezreal said it's the mid laner for the Braves lagging out. I don't know how the Wi-Fi is at Ottawa, but it's got to be put into question now.
I think that it should be fine because Ottawa is on the right. They're eastern side of Canada, and the server for League actually in North America is in Chicago. If that's a little bit of trivia for you, the League of Legends server in North America, the NA server, is in Chicago. So the closer you are to Chicago, the better your internet should be. So maybe it's just some device issues, stuff like that. Maybe they're not actually on a wired connection like we have here in the studio, unfortunately. And, it's just one of those things. We're dealing with it. They're dealing with it. We'll get back into it very soon. But, I mean, yeah, really, really strong start for Maryland thus far.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the pressure we want to see, that, strong start. I don't want the Terps to overplay their hand, though. I feel like that's been a consistent tale. Sometimes they might have a strong lead, but somebody or the team together, they might overplay their hands and engage incorrectly. But I feel like even though they're in the lead right now, they shouldn't look to snowball. They should look to stabilize.
Yeah, I really do like, though, the kill going to Wukong in that scenario in the top lane. We didn't get to see it, but the kill did go to Pika on the Wukong, and I like that, especially early on, because none of the champions on the team really benefit a crazy amount from that early kill. Maybe you'll, say top lane, because top lane is so snowbally, right? But that's the thing. I like Wukong having it because he's going to be everywhere. He's going to be able to try and set up the rest of the team and try and get everybody else leads. So I like Wukong. I like in general, the jungler having the early kill because Wukong scales fairly well and he'll be able to use that gold around the map more efficiently than the rest of the team, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. I think we have to look out for how the Drakes pan out. Getting that early first 2 Drakes seems to be how this level of play usually pans out. One team gets the first 2 Drakes, maybe drops the next 2 just to get advantages elsewhere on the map, or they can just go all out and get themselves to Soul Point.
That's why I asked about chess a little bit, Kevin, because in some ways, League is like chess. You divert your resources, your attention to one side of the board, and on the other side, you might be a little bit more vulnerable, or you might lose resources over there. So it really is a bit of a chess match between 2 teams when it comes to League. League has a little bit more moving parts than chess, but I think that the background of it, kind of the overarching strategy, does make sense, right? And, I mean... Yeah.
I mean, I would love to see Magnus Carlsen, Gotham Chess, Hikaru Nakamura play League of Legends. I mean, I wonder how our players would do playing chess, but it would definitely look a lot more interesting to see these, great chess players play League of Legends. Do you think there's any transferable skills?
I honestly do. Not even kidding. I really do, because there's just concepts, right?
Yeah.
There's the concept of, like I was saying, putting your attention on one side of the board while you might let the other side be a little bit weaker, but you gain that advantage on the other side of the board. That's why, that's like strong siding when you're a jungler. Like, you want to strong side maybe your bot lane so that they are able to carry, because, typically bot lane carries more than a top laner might. But top lane might be fine on its own anyway, but you divert the resources to bot lane, you divert the time, the energy to bot lane, and that building that advantage in bot lane might win you the game. Just like chess, just like attacking one side of the board and leaving the other side of the board kind of alone as long as it's safe enough.
Yeah, there's a lot of mind games happening. I feel like there's always this one point in the game where a team tries to rush Baron, and there's no vision on the map. There's no people on the map, and you just have to guess. Are they going for Baron right now? Do we just face check this and then get jumped, or they're on Baron and we win this engage?
Yeah. And I don't know if there's anything in chess like that, but I will say.
It's like a gamble. It's like Gambit. That's the word.
Look at you. Yeah, that is a sacrifice of a pawn, especially in the opening, to try and, get some kind of advantage out of it. And I can definitely see that in League. Everything kind of comes down to jungle, doesn't it? I have another jungle analogy. Again, strong siding that bot lane, using that as a gambit. You might let your top laner go down a kill or two, but as long as the bot lane, as long as the mid lane, as long as you're getting enough elsewhere, maybe you're invading the other jungle, maybe you're getting the early objectives, it will be worth, as long as, you think it out, you calculate it, make sure that your top laner doesn't go like, a billion, which, Z doesn't. We can very easily say at the very least that our local top laner here, Z, does not do that. But it's just kind of those things, like strategy games are often really similar once you get down to the core basics of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of niche concepts, especially with League of Legends, from laning to that macro level and micro level. Yes, you might have to control your character, but you have to control where you are on the map. As a flash comes out from Kelly, this Elise is so aggressive.
Yeah, jumped right back into the action. Kelly did have to flash away as the Elise hit the stun. Right there, that's the Q flash coming out of Elise, but it is not enough to kill. The Ignite comes out, but once again, not enough to kill. Soy Blake getting in there, tanking the rest of the damage. Kelly lives. Soy Blake lives. Kelly does have to use both of her summoners, but that is a kill going to Soy Blake very early on. That's what we like to see, but Ezreal is not satisfied with that. Kelly coming out with the tether. The karma is so potent at keeping a target alive, and right there, she did it to herself. Keeps herself alive. Soy Blake is still just going crazy. So much damage early on. More damage than I was expecting.
Yeah, that mantra W heals, Kelly up as, Xin Zhao's trying to make something work down here, but, Blake is just, just the protector of this tier 1 tower, and hopefully we don't see another, Nautilus incident happen again as a dive happens in the bot lane. Root onto Xin Zhao, kill goes to Blake. Kelly goes down, Soy Blake alone. 4th shot almost up.
And right now, he gets 2 kills. Soy Blake looks like he's out. He does. He gets the triple kill under his own tower. What a play. It looks like
mastery.
The Braves overextended way too far right there. And the gold lead for the Terps grows to 2,000. What a play all around. Great play from both bot laners there. Blake having to use the summoners as well. Gets to live to tell the tale. Get 4 kills. 4 kills on Jhin. That's thematic.
I think he needs no more kills this game.
Maybe.
Next one's 44.
But either way, very, very strong start right here as Burrito Bear is getting ultimate on by the Nefiri. It looks really, really scary for Burrito Bear right now on the Mel, but his R comes out. It is not enough to kill either of them. Oh my god, a bit of a hidden piece of that is the True Shot barrage coming from Ezreal. Came up to the mid lane, tried to get Burrito Bear on the Mel, was not enough, but Kelly is there to clean up the pieces.
A clean finish.
Just top to bottom right now, the Terps are playing pretty great.
Yeah, if I was the Braves right now, I would not be feeling good. Throughout all, sides of this map, it feels like you're just losing out. You lost first Drake for free. You lost 3 kills. You're down 2k gold. It is not looking bright here.
But that is no excuse to get complacent. We talk about this a lot. I talk about this a lot because it is something that I kind of struggle with in my own games, is complacency. Getting this lead is great and all, but you don't want to get complacent. You don't want to get comfortable. You still want to push the lead, safely, of course, but you still want to push it. Take the advantage that you're giving yourself right now and finish this out in a strong, strong way.
Yeah, I mean, we got to see. I mean, Blake is looking crazy down here. So much gold funneled into him. That 4th shot is lethal. But across the map, Z is pushing this Rumble down. I mean, this is just classic Z here. He just forces the enemy laner into his own turret. And, Pika's just moving around the map. He's having a jolly time with 3 winning lanes. He's having a good old time right now.
You can't ask for much more as a jungler right there, and you can't ask for a better stun coming out from Z. The all-out coming out. Z is all out. Look at the damage coming out of Cassante. He is a tank, but more importantly, he is a bruiser. But unfortunately, he misses the Q that matters. So as the Q flash comes out, doing his best, the equalizer comes out of Rumble. This fight is not over, but Z wants it to be over as he is on the back heel right now. Very, very scared as the Rumble has so much damage, but not enough to finish it out. And top lane is looking mighty, mighty scary right now.
Yeah, that overheat is just so potent. Well, Pika is just looking for another opportunity. He's always active for his friend here, Z. And there seems to be some trouble happening bot lane as Xin Zhao gets caught out by the Kelly.
The curtain call coming out right now as Kelly is just trying to save Soy Blake from the problem. And top lane, it goes unspoken. We didn't get to see it, but there was a dive attempt. But look at Rumble's health on the top left of the screen. Rumble is 1 health. He lived to tell the tale as Soy Blake did earlier. No kills coming out, but a pretty good job, at least for Rumble to live there, as unfortunate as it is for the Maryland Terps.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just dive central right now as the Braves are casing out the bot tier 1 to try and dive Soy Blake, but nothing comes to fruition. They're going to stay safe under this tower. And, Pika is just reaping the rewards of his laners as Void Grubs and First Drake go towards the side of the Terps.
Yeah, and the second Drake is coming up in less than 2 minutes, but having this kind of lead early on, this 3k gold lead, that's why I was kind of happy that it went to Wukong, because he's able to move around the map, the team with this gold, able to get his own licks in, if that makes any sense. He already has the Trinity Force, only 10 minutes in, which is a pretty big item spike for Wukong, so I really like the position of the Terps right now, but once again, do not get comfortable. You have to keep the foot on the gas.
I mean, one thing I want to point out, it's a 2-level lead in the mid lane. And Burrito Bear is 30 CS up. We've seen him play Morgana. We've seen him play Galio, these more supportive characters. But he can really take over a lane if he needs to, as he's showcasing.
Yeah, for sure. Right now, he is putting on a bit of a clinic, a bit of a masterclass in the mid lane, but that is not to say that across the map, the rest of the team isn't putting in some work of their own, as once again, Soy Blake does have the 4 kills. Sometimes in lanes like this against the Ezreal, though, it's kind of hard to push that lead because Ezreal is so safe, and right now, Burrito Bear is getting dove by the Nefiri. Nefiri does not have any kind of tools to save her life, and her life goes down, but right now, Burrito Bear is in a bad spot. The root comes out. That is a great play. He might be safe right here, as Xin Zhao does hit the E, and right now, yeah, Burrito Bear is completely out safely. Pika is having his way with Xin Zhao right here. That is a kill. That is a great play top to bottom from Burrito Bear, but the fight is not over, as right now, the entire squadron, the Avengers, are running down bot lane to catch out this Ezreal. Curtain call comes out. Pika uses his clone for the distance. The gap closed, and look at the Terps lead right now. Z is trying to get a cross-map ace.
I mean, what is happening? The Terps are showing such a high level of dominance across the map. Like you said, Nathan, I thought it was going to be a cross map ace, and Burrito Bear should audition for Tom Hanks, because run, Burrito, run.
He really set that one up top to bottom, as right there in the top lane, as I was saying. Z gets the solo kill. We didn't even get to see it. It was that quick. No, we couldn't even react. But that's the thing. I think Burrito Bear really made that play what it was, because he gets that kill on his own right now, and Burrito Bear is in a pretty bad spot right there as the Elise hits a really, really good stun on him. They did have to divert 3 entire people to be there. That is a 700 gold shutdown, or 400 rather. Pretty good play, but going back to the Burrito Bear play, I think he really made it, because obviously bot lane kind of got their own thing going on, and they're having their own thing going on right now, but Burrito Bear set that up. He got that first kill, ran him down, and right now Pika, or not Pika rather, but Plux, I believe his name is, tries to run away, tries to do his best Burrito Bear impression. Not going to work out as well as it did earlier, though, and right now the lead for the Maryland Terrapins is Pi. It is 3 kills to 14, and it is looking mighty, mighty good.
Yeah, and I think Z wants to round that number up just a little bit, keeping active in the top lane. But, I mean, that gank on Burrito Bear, yes, you might have gotten the shutdown, but you gave up so much across the map that Ezreal on the side of Braves just suffered the consequences of that roam.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what you have to do as the enemy bot lane when the support roams. If you have the strength, if you have the potency, the kill ability, you have to try and take advantage. Even if you don't get the kill, force them out of lane, you know what I mean? Just make sure that there are some kind of consequences for the support leaving. And right there, that is exactly what the Terps bot lane did. Clinical stuff coming out.
Yeah, I think minute after minute here, Braves are going to have the knot tighten on them, because it's going to be so hard to scale even further. It's going to be so hard to, carry into the late game as they get tier 1 tower.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, that's the thing. This game is looking mighty, mighty fine. And right now, Kelly's trying to make something happen in the mid lane, just trying to push that. Like I was saying, Kelly and Blake kind of switched out into the mid lane rather with Burrito Bear. And I mean, that's just good stuff, right? You have to try and push the lead somehow, and they're going to try to get this mid lane tower. As right here, here's a big play coming out from the Braves. It looks like Xin Zhao hits the W, but will it be enough? Pika with a great Cyclone. Blake going down, but Pika is right there to pick up the pieces, and that is a bit of almost a wipe in the mid lane. Xin Zhao goes down, and it looks like Neferi is next on the docket for Pika. Look at the damage. I was saying how good the Triforce is for him, and he gets the kill with the Triforce in particular. Burrito Bear is there to support now as well, as does 2 kills coming out at the same time. It is 4 to 18 in the side of the Terps. That is great. Great stuff. It is a 6,000 gold lead almost, and Z.
It's a cross-map ace with Z topping it off.
Finishing it out, Z. What a play. All across the map, what a play. And that is a unprecedented thing right there. That is a forfeit coming out of the Braves against Maryland. That is a very, very easy, eventful game 1, but eventful in the best way possible, as Maryland takes that one pretty easily, I'd say.
Yeah, we had our lovely broadcasting director whispering into our ears that this is the first time this has ever happened in studio. I mean, unprecedented, like, oh my. They were playing so well,
Yeah.
Nathan.
I don't even know, because I know in the top levels, forfeiting is not allowed. I don't know if you knew that, but I think
it's illegal.
Yeah, it's like they might be punished by law. But either way, maybe in our league, forfeiting is a little bit less frowned upon. Try and save time for everyone, because I think the Braves kind of knew that one was lost already. As we kind of knew in the studio that it was lost already. But we have to talk it up. We have to keep it exciting. But pretty easy game 1 of the playoffs for the Maryland Terrapins, and we're going to be looking to try, they're going to be looking to try and keep that momentum, that kind of gamesmanship into game 2, but not before a quick commercial break. We will be right back with the action after these words.
My name is Subin Kim, my in-game name is Carrots, and I'm the controller of this team.
My name is Hannah, my IGN is Tuxedo Sam, and I play Sentinel for the team.
My name is Sima, my in-game name is Care Bear, and I'm a flex.
My name is Megan, my IGN is Giraffe, and I'm an initiator.
My name is Sophia, my IGN is Soap, and I'm an initiator.
Hi everyone, I'm Ayush, my in-game name is Dulce, and I'm the coach.
For me, I think it was just really interesting to see like our names on like social media and like on a website. I'm just like, whoa, my name is on a website but so I think that was like the number one thing that kind of like just it brought the realization of like what kind of team I'm in, like what kind of position I'm in.
Meeting them. It's like hard to make a woman and non-binary friends in Valorant, so it's just really nice that we have like a team specifically for that.
The studio.
Yeah.
Oh, the studio.
The
Oh,
studio.
I didn't even know that existed. I didn't know that existed until like remember like when we first talked about the studio. I was like, what's that? When I first went to the room, I was like, oh, there's cameras and lighting. I'm just like, that's
Nice computer.
Nice computer.
The monitors
So
are crazy.
true.
Winning.
Yeah.
Oh, so true.
Yeah.
W winning.
Getting that.
Yeah. That
Yeah, I feel like
was pretty cool.
hey. I would say supportive is definitely like Dusty and Rachel. Those two, just like making sure we had scrims down, making sure we had practice schedules down, like Dusty making sure like to pick out what we did wrong, just like, helping us improve. I think definitely.
Yeah, Dusty's a very present coach, so
Very.
it's like he's really reliable and helped us through the whole season.
Thanks, team.
Yeah, you'd even like schedule things for us,
Like organize all those schedules.
help us map bands and like talk to
Stats,
them
yeah.
if like realize if one of them was like unranked or something. Breaking a rule, making teams forfeit.
Maybe we don't talk about that last part.
I would also say like our fans in chat, like on
Oh,
stream.
true.
So it was nice knowing
W
people
chat.
watching us.
And the haters.
Oh yeah.
Improve in the higher division.
Yeah, it is definitely more challenging because we're in a higher division now. But I think we could, like, with our coordination, I definitely think we could. We need to bring home another one of these.
It feels great.
Yeah.
You guys know this is the first title that Terps Esports has won.
Wait, seriously?
And by
Really?
women.
Yeah.
Oh, seriously? Oh,
First time.
cool.
I like playing Valorant.
Have an excuse to play games.
That's true. That's good.
For me, I joined because, I've always wanted to be on a women's team, especially since I got to UMD, and me and Dusty had always tried to make teams work every semester, and this was the first time it actually did work and stuck, and the people who tried out were committed. So I guess I've always just wanted to be on a women's team to connect more to that community, to make friends.
So I had that gap, without a team for a while, and then I saw the form, and I was like, I really want to try this. This sounds fun. And then, yeah, I play Valorant too much. First of all, I did not imagine me being IGL when I first started, because I am, outside of my Lilac team, I am known as the no-brain, only aim chamber in comp. So I did not imagine myself being IGL. But I think there were some difficulties in the beginning because no one, I wasn't used to giving out comms. I was just very confused. But I think now it's just the amount of trust that my teammates give me when I give out comms and the amount of coordination that we have. I just love being IGLing because I trust that things will work out.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. We hope the break was not too long to deal with, to bear with, but we should be getting into draft rather imminently, and I'm very excited to see how the rest of the series plays out after a dominant showcase from the Maryland Terrapins, a game winner. Right now, yeah, we are very, very far in the draft.
Yeah, we see the Ash Seraphine coming out. I feel like this is a classic for at least the Terps Academy team. Last semester it was Unicorn Potato. This semester it's Kelly and still Soy Blake. And the Gwen comes out. This might go jungle. This might go top lane. Z on any carry top laner. I feel like it's just a show to watch.
Yeah, for sure. But I really do like the way that the Braves comp looks right now. They have the Sejuani Renekton picked as well as the Melio, and I mean the last two picks are going to be damage dealers. They're going to be really big carries, and I like when you kind of have that ability, those spots, to put in really potent champions like they do right now. They might have a control mage and a really good scaling ADC, and that will be a really, really good comp, strong comp, hard to deal with for Terps. So we'll see how their last two picks pan out as well.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Braves are probably going to be the engagers. They're blue side this turn, so they have to pick the last two, while the Braves have the pick advantage. But I mean, right now they have so much CC, they have so much slow, just from Ashe and Seraphine and Tristana coming out. Maybe just trying to win lane, or push this Gwen off of the tanks, because Z on that Gwen, he's going to shred some HP.
Yeah, but I do like the Tristana pick, as the Sejuani Renekton picks are really go-in champions. So is the Tristana with her jump, with her bomb. I really, really do like the way that the Braves composition looks right now. But that's not to say that I don't like the way that Terps look as well. I would assume, I was literally about to say, I would assume that there's a tank to be coming out soon. And right here, we have the Dr. Mundo picked. And honestly, Gwen and Mundo could be in either side. If I had to guess, it would be Zeal on the Gwen, right? Because that's one of his champions. But it could be flexed into either spot.
I mean, Nathan, where does Dr. Mundo go?
Mundo goes wherever he pleases, and that is what we'll hopefully be seeing later on as the Malzahar comes out. I like that pick a lot to counter the Tristana, and you Malzahar are the Tristana. Keep her locked down, and then you have to make Sejuani Renekton and whoever this last pick is deal with you on their own. And I kind of like it.
With Malzahar, I think he has the strongest wave clear in the mid lane.
Mm-hmm.
You will always have push. You will always have priority in the mid lane as long as your Malzahar is even. And so you can always move on objectives with Dr. Mundo. And I've really, I just want to point out, besides the non-pick by the Braves.
I've never seen that.
Is the color palette by our Terps. They're really sticking to this, indigo, this like calm blue kind of palette.
They're a little bit orange, a little bit angrier, orange, yellow, kind of maybe a little bit of red with the Melio on the other side, kind of angrier, a little bit more aggressive, and it really matches the way that their comp looks, I would say. And we are receiving words. We're receiving words that the last pick is Ahri coming out for Braves in the mid lane. And I think I like that for Malzahar, because how is Ahri going to really kind of bounce these waves with him? At least early on. Once her Q upgrades and her W upgrades, she'll have it. But I think early on, I really like that for Malzahar.
Yeah, there's a lot of maneuverability, but I feel like the spell shield, it's really hard to play against the spell shield, especially as Ahri. Yes, you can break it with your other abilities, but follow up with the charm. But at that point, you don't have enough damage.
Yeah, for sure.
And overall, I feel like it's a skill-based matchup, but Malzahar should have a pretty easy time in this mid lane. He pushes waves, he recalls, he goes back, he pushes waves. It's farming simulator, basically.
I think I might be a little bit inclined to disagree with the skill-based matchup part of that, because I don't, obviously there are talented players in there, but Malzahar is a very purposefully simple champion, right? And, you don't have to reinvent the wheel to pilot him correctly. And I would even go as far as to say, as the Braves might have counterpicked themselves a little bit with the Ahri, because now that's just another target that Malzahar can ultimate and kind of keep locked down, and Ahri's whole thing is her movement. Right, so if they catch the Ahri out with the Nether Grasp coming out of Malzahar, it's kind of wraps. So I kind of like the way that mid lane looks, at least for Maryland.
Yeah, I do wonder, it's going to be both sides don't really have range. I was going to say it's a range difference just because of Blake, but really he's the only attack damage player on the side of the Terps. Everybody else is either AP, a blend of AP, or a tanker. Pika's just going to be on that Dr. Mundo. So it's very reliant on Soy Blake staying alive, and obviously they have a lot of crowd control. That's the name of the game with the Terps, and I love to see these crowd control comps.
One thing I will say is I definitely do agree with you that Blake will be the primary damage dealer for at least attack damage, but it is important to not look past the Dr. Mundo attack damage, as his passive does give him an obscene amount of AD coming out, just because you stack up health, and his passive is that for every % of health that you get some attack damage. So he isn't going to be carrying with attack damage, but he's definitely not something to look past, especially as we get into late game. He'll have a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we've been hyping up our Terps all night. I have to say, the Braves are a little brave for just, putting forth that FF last game. So let's talk about their comp. Renekton, how do you feel against Z's Gwen?
See, that's the thing with Renekton, is that a lot of times, especially in these high-level games, Renekton is only potent with a really strong early game jungler. And Renekton's whole goal in games at these higher levels is to get a lead early. And against Gwen, that might prove to be a little bit difficult, because Renekton's going to E in, and Z is going to click his W, get some armor, and he's going to dash out. And if Renekton doesn't have anything else, he's kind of just stuck there. And it's kind of nothing happens. So maybe it might go different than how I'm predicting it. But again, typically in these high level games, Renekton has to get something done early, because he kind of does fall off.
Yeah, I think there's this same juxtaposition by the Terps and Braves. The Terps are playing this front to back once again, and it's a dive comp once again by the Braves. It's like it's seeing Gojo and Sukuna. If anybody watches Jujutsu Kaisen out there, it's these very different styles of play. One team wants to play this fortress, this death ball, while the Braves are looking to be that spear to break through, trying to find an angle and wipe through the Terps composition.
I will say, though, I definitely do like the Braves comp a lot better than I liked their first one. Their first one did, again, I keep using this word, but it did feel like it was lacking the cohesion that they needed. But this one, even though they are still kind of death ball, kind of go in and try and, impose your will, they have a lot more cohesion with how they're going to do it. Renekton, Sejuani are going to go in and try and CC everybody, while Ari and Tristana also go in and be those damage dealers. Amelia's going to try and keep everyone up, but I really do like the way that the Braves comp looks this game compared to last one. I think it's night and day better.
Yeah, I do have to wonder. I think range is the most problem, the biggest problem for the Braves. Yes, Tristana can do so much damage, but let's say one misplay in the bot lane. You go in with W, you misstep, you walk into Ari's, encored route, you walk into the crystallized arrow, and I think you're just a goner at that point.
Yeah, I will say that the Maryland Terrapins comp has a lot more disengaged. They have a lot more kind of ability to keep themselves safe, as Mundo is going to live. Obviously, Gwen is going to have her W, her Visage, if you will, and Ashe and Seraphine have so much disengage on their own as well, that I really like the way that the Maryland comp looks in that regard, because, that's what we might see. They're very front to back, but if, Braves do get an angle to try and death ball in, to try and dive in, Maryland has the ability to try and just get out, you know what I mean? And so I think that will be an interesting dynamic to look for as we get into game 2.
Yeah, definitely something to look forward to. I think it's the same thing. Scaling. Scaling's the name of the game for the Terps. Scaling doesn't always work, but it seemed to work pretty well last game.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We didn't even really get to see how the comps fully played out last game, because it was so cut and dry. The lead was too big to really see how the dynamics worked. But we did see the potency of the Wukong pick, as we were talking about. He got that early kill, and maybe not to toot my own horn, but he did get that early kill. And by the end of the game, I believe he was 4-0, and he was going crazy just off of that first kill. So, he just did good with what he was given with that early lead. He just kept pushing it and ended up before the FF, he ended up really, really strong. So we'll be seeing Pika try and get something similar to that going this game.
Yeah, I think I'm just lost for words right now because of how fast that first game was. Usually we get to the 30-minute mark, we get to the 40-minute mark, we can chill out a little as wave states balance and everybody just eyeing Elder Dragon or Baron. But in this meantime, what do you think the Braves need to do to turn this around? Because that is just, for lack of better words, such a lackluster first game performance. I would be demotivated if I was anywhere close to being like near that roster.
I feel ya, but that's the thing, is that when you're on these teams, you kind of have to do your best, and as hard as it would be, because I would definitely be out of it too, I'd be locked out. But you have to try and stay locked in and keep a very, very short memory. In sports, that's the term. That's the key. That's the golden phrase. The golden saying is keep a short memory. Last game happened, but it does not. Last game is last game. You know what I mean? It does not matter anymore. It's done, said and over with. They're down 0-1, and they have to just keep it pushing. And so this game, last game, we got to see how good Maryland was at pushing their lead. Obviously, they got it a little bit spoon-fed to them on that bot lane dive, and in some of the skirmishes, Pika did end up getting that kill early on by a gank in the top lane. But if you're playing on the Braves roster, you have to try you have to try and minimize the damage early. We saw how easy and how well Maryland pushed their lead last game. So this game, if you're the Braves, you have to try and rather get a lead or keep it even and keep yourself in the game. Because when this team in this matchup gets a lead, they're not going to let it go. You have to do your best.
Yeah, I think right now the Terps foot on the gas pedal and they're not easing off until they see the victory line. Name of the game for the Braves, make it to minute 15 and be like at an even point. I think their composition, yes, they might win early, but I think they thrive in the mid game.
Yeah.
So I don't really know. There's this tankiness in their top side with Sejuani and Renekton, but I still think it's dependent on how Ari, and especially Tristana, how Ari and Tristana plays, because they're dependent so much on that damage.
Yeah, and I would say, like you were saying, you have to make it to minute 15. You have to make sure, if you're the Braves, that the game stays competitive. In baseball, they say, when you strike out, it's the worst thing because you don't even give the fielders a chance to mess up. You know what I mean? You're not keeping it competitive. The out is just an out, and you don't really get to do much else about it. But when you get in, even if you hit it and it's just a simple, easy out, you make the fielders have to try and do something. You keep it competitive. You have to work to get me out, and that is exactly the same kind of thing that the Braves have to have going here. You can't strike out. You can't go down so much in the early game and make it completely not competitive. You have to stay in the game. But Maryland will be all about trying to not let that happen, getting it over with, getting it said and done, get that lead going, and get it done quick.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we hop into the second game soon enough. But I think hopefully it's not another technical issue happening. But I feel like we'll come right back to you guys after a short and quick commercial break.
And I think by the end of the season, like now, we play together, everyone kind of jokes around a little bit more and kind of shines their natural ray. We're excited just to see them play better as well.
With the middle school program, the best part has been seeing the moments of teamwork where the middle schoolers really seem to get the game, and so that's when you can see they're starting to get a little bit hooked on how esports can be so fun.
Off game, or will Red turn things around?
And we are back after a very, very short break, but there is a bit of a technical pause, some technical difficulties happening once again in the game. So we were just trying to minimize some of that time at the very least. But, you know, the best thing that we can say is that these things just happen, right? We can't really control it. And I do believe that it may be on the side of Braves, but that doesn't really matter. We understand. We kind of get the struggles. We've had some technical difficulties in here too.
Honestly, at this point, there's not a lot to talk about. We've gone through the teams, we've gone through the players. I mean, Burrito Bear, standout player. Kelly, she's learned from her mistakes. Don't leave your ADC under tower. And, you know, she was rewarded. I mean, not her, she died in that dive, but Blake was rewarded. 3 kills.
Hey, and I will say in that game that we were referencing when Kelly kind of maybe left Blake to dry out a little bit, that's okay. They still did win, and they still did get a couple kills out of it. But Kelly stayed strong down there in the bot lane, helped Soy Blake out, and it ended up very, very fruitful for themselves. She did have to burn her summoners, but I believe Blake had to because she already used hers, but Soy Blake got a triple kill there. He got up to 4 kills, you know, on the Jhin as we were having a laugh about, and that kind of was the catalyst for how big of a stomp that game was. I mean, obviously the other lanes, like you were saying, Burrito Bear was doing exceedingly well, but I mean, what can you do against a 5-0 Jhin when the rest of the team is also fed? There's really nothing.
Yeah, I think we mentioned this in a previous week, but in sports and esports, in anything you're doing in life, if you want to perform well, you sometimes got to get hot at the right time. Once the playoffs hit, the teams that are hot, the teams that have that, you know, momentum going in, they're going to be the teams that do the best because their wins, their tailwinds come at the right time.
And we got a glimpse of the game right there a minute ago, and we will be getting in once again very soon. But yeah, you have to get hot at the right time. I've seen playoff teams in other sports just go on a run because they got good, they got hot at the exact right time in the season, at the end of the season. Last year, the Toronto Blue Jays had a pretty good season in the MLB, but they got really good at the end of the season, and they won out their games, and they made it to the World Series. Got very, very close. But it's just an example, you know what I mean? It's just how these competitive things work. You know, that you get the juices flowing, you get the blood flowing, and you get to work. And that is exactly what Maryland did in Game 1.
Yeah, I mean, I love to see this early action. Ignite coming out from Renekton trying to win lane early. Z opting for, you know, that TP. And, you know, there's this TP advantage on the side of the Terps. They're going to be looking for that late game, hopefully. I think there's no need to force their hand. There's no need to, you know, really put the pressure onto anything because they won the game last game by such a landslide. The pressure's not on them.
Yeah, for sure. They just have to keep it clean, keep it tight, as they say in the industry. Just play good, solid, like you know how. And right here, so this will be a game of doing just that, as they have to play solid. They have to make sure they don't make any big mistakes and kind of give away their lead that they have right now.
Yeah, I mean, even Kelly said in the pre-show, engaged supports might be in meta right now, but these enchantresses, I love Karma and Seraphine because they're usually known for being, you know, more damaged. Like,
yeah,
they might like steal a little CS here and there, but with the new updates, with like Helios of Echoes, I believe, the item, they do so much shielding, and I feel like it's so like
Yeah,
I know.
potent is the
Potent.
word I think you're looking for.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I will say that she did say the meta, favors engage right now, as that is an engage coming out of Tristana, getting a lot of damage out on Kelly. She has to pop the heal, but so does Emilio. And right there, that is a great trade coming out from Braves. But Blake is in the midst of the fight, trying to get a little bit back. And it looks like, wow, right now it looks like Braves are in a weird spot. Tristana trying to get Kelly. She does not. Kelly just barely doesn't get out, and Tristana has healing from Triumph. Unfortunate as it is, Pika is there to clean it up. But right there, I mean, yeah, you are seeing the potency of the engage coming out, even though there isn't an engage support per se. That is the strength of being able to go in like that early. And right there, the Braves almost got away with it, but they did not at the end of the day. And right there, Z does not get away from anything, but so does Renekton as he uses the Ignite, gets the tower dive. Very good dive, unfortunately, because of the way the waves are looking. But, I mean, you have to take what you're given. If you're Z right there, not much else to do.
Yeah, 1-for-1 trade in the top lane. Ignite is traded, so Z should be a little bit more comfortable in the top lane. And Burrito Bear, that push, that wave clear ability is just so strong. And honestly, back to the bot lane. Support for ADC, I'll make that deal. Would you make that deal?
Yeah, see, but I will say that I wouldn't make that deal in the sense, or in the case at least, of this kind of game where Tristana scales so hard and she is getting pushed out of lane right now. Emilio is here, but I think Blake is very content to stay in the fight until right here the Tristana jump comes out. It looks like she's doing enough damage. Wow, look at the damage coming out of Tristana. The second jump coming out as well. No flash, not able to finish the job off, but Emilio is trying. He does his best Messi impression, but right now there's another fight happening in the top lane. Pika is going crazy, though, as Z does go down. Unfortunately, in the midst of all of it, Z gets a double kill, and right now there's a bit of a jungle grand, a canyon, as Z has to go down for Pika to go up 3-0.
Yeah, honestly, it's fine by me that all the gold is going towards Pika as Kelly gets bursted down. Tristana under tower, so confident right now. I mean, granted, she is just absolutely obliterating this lane right now, but it's looking tough for the Terps in the bot lane, but I think it's nothing that they can't buff out.
At least for right now, it is very tough to say. It's unfortunate to say as well, but I do believe the bot lane is over. Blake is down so much. He's down XP, he's down gold, he's down kills. But that does not mean, obviously, as you were saying, that the game is over. Because Ashe does scale pretty well, and so does Seraphine. So right now, the name of the game for bot lane is just to minimize the damage as best as they can, as that is a trade coming out right now. But Z is very content to stay in it. Oh, excuse me, as right now he knows that Renekton has no flash, no ignite, but the wave is there. He does not want to fight in that. And at the end of the day, the trade comes out looking pretty even.
Yeah, and hopefully, while top lane and bot lane might not be looking as, perfect as the first game, Pika's still having a solid start to this match. 3-0, he's up on CS, and hopefully he gets this first Drake for the Terps.
And right now in mid lane, if you're Burrito Bear, you're going to tank that charm from coming out from Ahri. The Nethergrass comes out. He's doing a lot of damage in a very, very short amount of time, but it won't be enough to get any kind of kills. But right now, if they are looking for Dragon, this is a good spot with Ahri being pushed out of lane.
Yeah, I feel like this is a good spot, but Burrito Bear's low on mana. And bot lane is just so strong for the side of the Braves. Yes, Pika's still going to go on it, but it's a little risky if Sejuani was still here. Thankfully, as we can see without the Fog of War, Sejuani's eyeing towards Z.
But right now, Tristana is eyeing both Blake and Kelly. Will they be able to get out? They are out and safe, but it looks like they want to keep fighting because, yeah, there he is, the big, illustrious Dr. Mundo. He's going to be trying to get something back right here. The heal comes out of Emilio just for the movement speed, but will it be enough as Pika on the Mundo has so much damage coming out right here, the cleaver, and Soy Blake on the Ashe gets the kill. It looks like the action is a little bit close to being ended right now as they try to get to Emilio as best as they can. Blake is not there, though. He is content to just keep on farming this wave, get a little bit back, and that is a great play, especially because Soy Blake got that kill. It would still be a good play otherwise, but Blake getting that kill makes that so worth. He is a little bit more back into the game.
Yeah, and I love this, awareness by, Pika. Maybe it's not best to just start soloing Drake and instead, help out his bot laners a little. He's like so aware across the map. He just knows where he needs to be placed, where he has to go across the map.
Yeah, and he is going where he's pleasing, as we were saying earlier in the pre-show, and as is the idiom around his name. He went where he pleased right there, got a lot of damage out in the bot lane, just set up the perfect kill for Soyblake to grab, and that is once again a great play, as Pika already has enough as it stands. He will scale out pretty well, so, I mean, the gold right now has to be focused somewhere else, and that is the perfect place to focus it as Soyblake gets his lick back, to say the least.
Yeah, the gold is basically even. It's not too much of a concern because Burrito Bear is just doing so well in lane for himself, as Malzahar does. Nethergrass comes out onto Ahri, just a lot of chip damage. I mean, it's just a little bit of a cancerous trade pattern, just point and click.
Right now, Tristan is jumping in once again, uses the ultimate buster shot, but it is not enough as Sejuani is here for backup, but so is Pika on the Mundo. It does not look like all that damage coming out early. That is what does this fight in, because now Kelly and Blake are down too much health to be able to really contribute without being in the direct line of danger from a Tristana jump. So it looks like they'll be trying to stay out of it, but Burrito Bear gets a plate mid lane, gets that crystalline overgrowth demolish, and maybe going to be trying to get something going on in this river while his team cannot.
Yeah, I think there's just needs to be like a little bit of patience by the Terps. They just need to play it out. Yes, you might lose the first two Drakes here. It's looking a little anxious for the bot laners here, but really you need to calm your hearts. You need to really take a step back, take a breather, and look at Burrito Bear.
The flash coming out. It is not enough damage, unfortunately, as he does not have any burn items going his way. It looked like he maybe overestimated his damage just a tad, as Ahri does live on basically 1 health. As unfortunate as that is, though, Burrito Bear does get a good push out in the mid lane, and he knows Ahri may be teleporting back to lane, so maybe he doesn't want to do too much, but a good play nonetheless. Unfortunately, losing the flash, as right now Tristan is once again jumping in. The ultimate coming out from Sejuani. Will it be enough to kill Soyblake? No, it won't. He's slippery this game, Kevin. He has not been taken down yet, as even though he's been the center of attention for most of these fights.
Yeah, I think he's been living by the sliver of his teeth, by the thinnest nail possible, and honestly, it's fine. He's even on CS. Yes, he may be down a few points of XP, but I think they have to focus on getting Kelly back into this game, because it's like that, Elise. When you don't have any gold, with the lack of gold you already don't get, it's going to be difficult as Z starts to fight up here with Renekton. Dominus comes out from Renekton.
But that's the thing, because Pika is right here to support the damage, to support the effort, the war movement in the top lane right now. Renekton is trying to go in. He flashes. He uses the Ignite. It is not enough to kill Z, though. As Renekton goes down, Pika uses the maximum dosage. Needlework comes out. Dominus comes out. But at the end of the day, it is Renekton going down at the end of that fight. That is a great play top to bottom.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was just perfect limit testing. Z knew what Renekton was going to do on that play and chose to flash out almost proactively to avoid any more incoming damage.
But look top lane. I was just about to say, before the observer moved the camera up here, look top lane, as right now Z is in the middle of a fight. The permafrost builds up on him, though, and unfortunately he does go down to Sejuani, but the action is not said and done yet, as the damage comes out, the encore comes out, but so does the buster shot, so does the enchanted crystal arrow coming out from Soyblake. Ultimate's flashes flying out all across the board, but at the end of the day, it is a double kill on the side of the Braves. That is a good play top to bottom, as unfortunate as it is.
Yeah, it's looking tough in the bot lane. I can see why they were focusing some bans last match onto, the Braves ADC, because, wow, he's a standout player. Leaving him in this 2v2, he knows exactly what to do.
He's been putting in work, especially after he got that early game advantage, and we saw that earlier on I mean, or in game one at least, we saw Soy Blake do that kind of with the Jhin, even though it was a little bit harder to push his lead early. But I mean, Tristana is a perfect champion to be able to push her own lead, and right now, Z is taking a pretty bad trade top to bottom. But look, he's getting some damage back. Renekton does have the dominance; it's coming out, but will it be enough? As Z trying to get the kill right now. Look at the Q coming out from Z. The prediction rather onto Renekton. He dashes right into the damage and goes down. Cut down in the top lane.
I mean, that is El Clasico for Z right there. Solo Bolo, even though he was down 1 and 3, it doesn't really matter. He's going to just be good old classic Z. Now, I feel like he's back in this game. His mental is probably recovered with just that one kill. It's the name of the game really is this bot lane right now, Nathan.
Yeah, at this game right now, if you're Maryland, you have to be looking at Pika. Pika has to stand strong in the face of the adversity in the bot lane. Stand strong. You are strong, Kevin, as they say. He has to stand strong in the middle of this to stay, stay even, stay level. I mean, he's ahead, but for the team to stay level, it is on the back of Pika, at least until Blake and Kelly are able to get a little bit more going for themselves. And I mean, that's the thing. As like right now, the name of the game is just keeping it steady. As right there's a big trade coming out top lane. A little bit nothing happening at the end of the day, as both of them are going to heal up. But I mean, you just have to play solid from here on out. The gold is even, but it really does not feel like it almost because of the bot lane. But right now is a bit of a fight coming out again. Pika has been almost camping top lane. It is a little bit hard to go bot. But right here, Sejuani is following up with the Cleaver. Infected Cleaver comes out of Mundo. It is enough to kill the Renekton, but they are not done with the effort as Z is sticking to Sejuani like glue. Burrito Bear is there too, but him and Ari were both too late to the action. Didn't really get a say in it, and that's a great play topside.
I mean, good old reliable Pika. He's gonna keep it down consistently. Soy Blake facing some adversity. Ultimate's coming out. Flux, that Milio is just pumping so many shields. TP from Burrito Bear. He's going strong. Flux and Milio running, flash in from Soy Blake. Nether Grass. He still escapes, barely goes down to Burrito Bear, and another kill going the way to Pika.
Yeah, I mean, right there, that was a great attempt at a play. I don't know if you saw it, Kevin, but it looked like Emilio popped his ultimate Breath of Life to cleanse the Malzahar ultimate, which was really good, and it worked over the wall, but Burrito Bear had those malefic visions, his E, his burn popping on him. Right now, Kelly is in a bad spot, and she is going to go down as well to the Sejuani. I don't know if these two juggernauts are going to have what it takes to kill each other in quick enough time. But yeah, I mean, the E coming out from Burrito Bear, securing that kill on Tristana. Look at his farm right now, Kevin. Burrito Bear has almost 11 CS per minute as we get in 15 minutes. He has 165 farm. What can you do about that if you're playing as Braves? There's not much.
Yeah, I think you can win this game in many fashions, and a lot of people focus on the kills because that's the highlights, but just winning your lane by farming the minions, that is the easiest way to be consistent at this game, to be good at wave clearing. And honestly, I think it's looking perfectly jolly for the side of the Terps.
Yeah, as right here, Z is jolly and very happy, satisfied to go in on this Renekton. He tries to line up the needlework. Look at the Q flash coming out from Z. Will it be enough? He's trying his best. He's on the tail of Renekton, and he bites that tail down. He goes down, and Soy Blake and Kelly get the solo kill on a Tristana in the bot lane. That's not what I saw coming, as right here, they're getting a kill of their own. They're in the game. They're back in the game completely on their own, Kevin.
Yeah, they're 3-1 now, surprisingly, and we see that mastery coming out from Blake again. You know what that means. He's ready to take over the game once more, and Ari's looking for maybe some plays down here in bot, but hopefully Kelly is able to avoid as the encore comes out.
Just not enough. Unfortunate as it is, but Soy Blake does get some plates going in the bot lane, gets his own gold, tries to get a lick back, and right now Z is in a very, very precarious position against the Sejuani. He knows he has to get out because Renekton is hot on his tail, and he knows he has to get out to Pika because Pika is close. But Pika is still going. He wants to get to Sejuani. I don't know if he knows if Renekton is there for his support yet. It looked like he doesn't. Does not get enough damage on Sejuani, but does push him out. Gives Z a little bit of time to breathe on the Gwen to get out safely. And Pika is very, very content. Oh, look at the damage coming out from Pika. And he gets the Bluetooth auto attack onto Sejuani with the E. And right there, that is the Malefic Visions and the Nethergrass coming out of Malzahar. Burrito Bear going crazy right now. The game has flipped onto its head, Kevin.
Yeah, I mean, this is the dominant performance that we want to see from the Terps. And not to diss the Braves or anything, but they fumbled the lead hard. I have to say, Z was not winning the top lane. Bot lane was going so well for them, but somehow the Terps turn it around. We saw it in real time, and you know, it might be farming simulator for Burrito Bear in the mid lane, but it's Heartsteel simulator for Pika.
That's the thing, though, with Burrito Bear. He has had an incredible influence on this game because by playing Farming Simulator in the mid lane, he has kept Ahri in mid. Ahri has had rocks in her shoes this game, Kevin. The first time we really saw her leave lane was right there because, I mean, the wave likely wasn't pushed in, and that's the thing. Burrito Bear has completely minimized Ahri as a character in this game just by clicking EQW on a wave in mid. Every 30 seconds, he clicks that and removes a champion from Brave. That is the potency of the Malzahar pick this game, and he's playing incredibly well.
Yeah, and I don't know if everybody caught that, but that Renekton is half HP just off of one combo by Burrito Bear. He is looking confident right now. Just any amount of poke can just shred so much health off of this Renekton.
And that is a Maw, or rather a Hex Drinker, I believe it is now. I'm a little bit out of the loop sometimes, but yeah, that is a Hex Drinker coming out of Renekton. Going to be building Maw of Malmortius as a bit of a fight might be breaking out in the mid lane. Pika is very content to be frontlining this effort as the Rift Herald crashes into the tier 2. That is a big Encore coming out from Kelly. It does hit enough, but the Melio ultimate comes out. I don't know if they know it though. Melio had to use the Breath of Life as the enchanted Crystal Arrow does go wide. The tier 2 tower in mid does go down, but that is not the end of it as Ahri has to Spirit Rush out of the action. She is too scared. Maryland has too much damage. They're two together right now for the Braves to deal with, and that is a great play as they run to Dragon, spawning in 20 seconds.
I mean, if you just look at the turrets across the map, Nathan, phew, it's looking good. It's ignore the kills, ignore everything else. It's a perfect game right now, just based off of turrets alone. I think the macro movement from the Terps is on point. Yes, they may have been losing early on, and now they're winning, and they're snowballing with their macro movement. They know how to cross map, they know where to position themselves, and they're not letting a single resource get drained, especially with Z coming back into this top lane to prevent, you know, any action by Renekton here.
It might get a little bit scary though because Sejuani is here to join the effort. The permafrost proc, she gets the stun and she is plenty strong enough, plenty tanky enough to tank the turret shots, but it does not look like she wants to. But they are not done in the top lane as Z has to stand strong with Pika coming up as well. They see him on Vision. Z is just farming the wave. Pika with the ghost though, it looks like no ghost at all. He is just that fast, ladies and gentlemen, as Pika is in there doing, look at this damage coming out. Z is a little bit scared, starts to throw the needlework, but there is a teleport coming out from Ahri, and now it gets a little bit way more scary rather, as Ahri does have the tools to be able to change a fight top to bottom. Pika trying to get some damage in, and Kelly is here too. It looks like a whole team effort from both sides coming out in the top lane. It looks like a 4v4 is brewing, and right here, Sejuani has to run away, but the Ash Eagle comes out, the enchanted Crystal Arrow comes out, Sejuani goes down. Tristana is too late to the fight, and right there, it looks like Maryland are getting out scot-free with the pick, maybe looking at Baron now.
Yeah, and I think Burrito Bear just has payphone by Rune 5 playing as he just split pushes the bot lane, just having his own game across the map as Baron starts up. TP coming out from Renekton. I mean, it's just mind games everywhere. Z was pretending to back off, stalling for time as Kelly and the cavalry arrive. Soy Blake landing that crystal arrow. I mean, it's looking like a masterclass from the Terps right now.
for sure. And this kind of lead is really hard to throw. I don't see it happening, but again, they have to stay concentrated, keep the main thing. As is said, they have to try and get something going. I was honestly expecting them to go Baron, especially with Burrito Bear recalling and running to the Hex Gate, but maybe they were a little bit too scared, as Sejuani was spawning very, very soon. Content to just keep it safe, keep it simple, and not go for too crazy of plays to keep this lead.
Yeah, they have an 8K gold lead. Yes, they have room to push the momentum a little, but I think not overplaying their hand, like you say, Nathan, is the best move. They need to stabilize. They know what to do, and honestly, it's fine for them to just like split push, because Malzahar has most fun just clicking minions with his abilities.
Yeah, for sure. And Ari is fishing a little bit for a charm right here in the top lane. But right now it is quiet on most fronts. Maybe something is brewing in the mid lane with Sejuani hovering the bot lanes, going at it on the waves. But I think our guys and girls are a little bit too smart for that. They know better than to go for some crazy play. But right here, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow is coming out. What a snipe coming out from Soy Blake. Will Z have the damage to finish it off? I mean, the route was very, very, very long because it was map wide. And the needlework comes out, but the Spirit Rush is just too much to try and chase. And I got really hyped up for that one, Kevin. I thought something crazy was about to happen, but unfortunately, Ari does get out.
I mean, still though, even though Tristana gets active, it's a lot happening in the mid lane. Encore comes out. Kelly gets caught. Soy Blake trying to do his best. TP from Burrito Bear. Tristana walks in under turret. Goes down Soy Blake. 1-for-1. Nethergrass comes out. Shutdown for Tristana. But a kill for Burrito Bear onto Milio.
And unfortunately, not enough players died there to really go for an end angle. Sejuani's still alive. Ari wasn't even close to the fight. And Renekton is split pushing. So the Terps will be going for this Baron, but they have to stay careful because Renekton can do some real damage from the bot lane if he is left unchecked for too long. Maybe that would be Kelly and Soy Blake's job as they respawn, but right now, Sejuani is jumping into the middle of the fight, gets the root, the stun rather, onto Burrito Bear using the permafrost, but will it be enough as Z has so much damage? He is able to just keep pushing and pushing and pushing Sejuani out, and Sejuani is a complete non-factor in this as Pika gets the flash coming out from Z. Will it be enough? The Hexgate popping, and it looks like he's a little bit scared now as the Baron does go down. The Terps take it rather easily, but I mean, so much happening just for the Baron, Kevin. That was a lot.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a scuff fight. It was looking a little dicey up there once Ari and Sejuani started to converge onto the Baron pit as Kelly is getting caught out by Tristana right now, and it's a... Wow, that is a lot of damage.
Yeah, the Infinity Edge, really, you can see the potency of the Infinity Edge there, as that was about an 1100 damage auto at the end of the day with the bomb popping and with the critical strike coming out. Unfortunate, a bit of a mispositioning coming out from Kelly, and that will lead to the Braves evening up the Dragon count. But I mean, Maryland's gold lead is still very, very great. They will likely still be able to pull it out. But again, that's why you can't get comfortable. Kelly maybe not thinking right here. Ari not thinking. The Nethergrass coming out. The silence coming out as well. What a great call on the silence coming out. And that is a dead Fox in the top lane. Tier 2 going down as well. Renekton going to try to do some damage control maybe with the rest of his team in pursuit. But I don't know if they'll have enough.
Yeah, it's a strong death ball here. As long as they group together, Soy Blake can just do so much damage. What is Tristana going to do with no mana right now? Milio trying their best to escape, but this death ball is so strong, especially with Baron buff.
Yeah, and right now Malzahar is very content to just stay in the middle of the fight and just try and poke and prod and spawn his own minions to take down these structures. The tower, the inhibitor go down. They are not satisfied. They maybe look for an end here as they're not leaving the base. They want to keep going. Kelly and Burrito Bear the last on the line. Right there, the Glacial Prison comes out. Kelly once again caught out. Burrito Bear did get out, as fortunate as that is. Kelly did not, and right here, maybe a bit of a questionable Hexgate approach, but it looks like the whole team is coming through. through. Maryland are in a tough spot as they are in the middle of 5. Kevin, or not Kevin, that's your name. Kelly is already down. Everybody is going down. Burrito Bear went down there. Mundo Pika is looking to try and get something, and that is a lot of damage coming out from the Flash E. But he's in a bit of a tough spot with 3 Braves looking at him dead in his eyes. What will he do? Z is coming up. He's going to try and help out the effort, help Pika get out. And it looks like they're out. You know what? A lot of action, some deaths, not the end of the world.
I mean, it's looking strong for them still. Pika is just absolutely Thanos right now. And Z, he is not anything to scoff at. I think Kelly needs to stop feeding, though. Jokingly playing around, but Kelly, she is going to be the primary, I guess, facilitator, this like point guard of the team right now, because if she's not up, it's a little difficult for Blake to really play, and Burrito Bear, because the shields are an important factor to everybody staying alive that does that like rapid advance of damage.
Yeah, and Kelly is a very, very important piece of these fights. As we were saying in the pre-show, she has a pretty important role in them, and it is unfortunate when she gets caught out like that. But again, maybe getting a little bit too comfortable, getting a little bit too relaxed with the lead, as the lead is still 10,000 gold. It's nothing to scoff at, nothing to take for granted, as that could flip in just one team fight with any amount of misplays.
Yeah, I think right now the Terps are just looking for a flip onto this Drake Baron double spawn in 2 minutes. Anything could happen. They're just keeping waves pushed, maybe looking for an early fight as nothing is up currently.
Yeah, and Sejuani just getting out pretty scot-free, pretty safely, jumping over the wall because there were a lot of Terps. I believe they were 3 deep in the blue side right there. Not something that the Braves want to deal with, especially with only Sejuani there and Tristana and Emilio being kind of far over the wall. But right now, Emilio looks like he's getting caught out. The Encore coming up misses, but Emilio does use the flash. Tristana has so much damage. The rocket jump coming out. Will it be enough damage to kill her? No, it won't. Burrito Bear has to flash in, use the Nether Grass. They get that kill, and it looks like Sejuani is in a tough spot in the middle of 4 Maryland Terrapins. You're just gonna get snapped, right, Kevin? I mean, that is a very, very tough spot to be.
Yeah, this is exactly what we want to see. It was looking a little bit risky there, but Z and Burrito Bear coming in as cavalry definitely saved the day after Soy Blake got bursted down in that 1v1 exchange. They're looking for the end here. Both turrets going down. Nexus going low. There's nothing they can do. Z's just auto-attacking, and it seems like the story is written as predicted by you, Nathan. A clean 2-0 for the Terps.
What a game. What a couple of games that we got to watch today, Kevin. Kevin, today, the first game was a stomp. It was what we were looking for. It is what we were hoping to see in here, a stomp. But the second game, there was a little bit of adversity. We were talking about how the Terps do not back down from it. We've seen them do it before. We saw them do it today. That's what we like to see. They go down early. It is not looking the best. It could be worse, but it could be a lot better. They do not care. They play from behind. They play from ahead, and they still come out with the win to advance to the second round of the playoffs. What a series we just saw today.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to their other matches because, like we said, they're getting hot at the right time. This is the perfect moment, and I don't want to jinx anything, but it looks to be a long run for our beautiful players. They're waving back. Pika might be a little bit more shy than the other players, but it's looking so great in the studio right now, Nathan. So what are your thoughts for the games? Sum it up.
The vibes are up right now, Kevin, to say the very least. The vibes are up. They're high inside of the studio right now. Those were a great couple of games. That is, again, that's exactly how you want to see those games happen. We got to see an example of them get a lead and push it to the extent that they could, of course, but we also got to see how they played when there was a little bit more, there were more issues in that second game. There was more stuff going on. They had more issues. They were down gold, but they did not let that get them down as people, as players, as competitors. They stayed up. They did not let anything get in their way, and they played as good as they could. given what they were dealt with in the first couple minutes.
Yeah, I think it's definitely that Terrapin mindset, taking it slow and steady. The Braves might have been the hare. They were going a little bit too fast for our fashion, but I mean, it's just wonderful to see such great gameplay. Absolute cinema.
As we've done a couple of times in here, it is definitely cinema, but I believe you're about to maybe thank our sponsors, maybe sign this one off.
Yeah, I think, first of all, I want to thank you for joining me in here every week. I want to thank our lovely manager, Tyler, for keeping everybody in check, our beautiful players, our observer, Tracy, always doing a great job, and our broadcasting assistant.
Yeah, we have Jessica in here and Jan in here doing, helping out with the stream. It is not easy to run these streams. CJ does a great job, but so do Jessica and Jan. Jessica on the left, Jan on the right there. So we appreciate everyone around here in the studio. And without further ado, we'd like to thank our sponsors today. We would like to thank the Philip Merrill College of Journalism for housing. That's where we have our studio. That's how we do this. So we appreciate you for letting us have a place. We would like to thank the Recreation and Wellness Center here at Maryland named RecWell. That is what our program is actually run through. So we appreciate you having the time, giving us the time of day to run this. And we would also like to thank PlayWire. None of this would be possible without you guys. So thank you. And without further ado, I think we're signing off.
Yeah. Hope to see you guys in the next match.